Hi yogis, namaste. My name is Jen. Thank you for being here with me today. I wanted to go over a topic called a yoga meal, if you've ever heard of one. Whether you practice yoga or not, this is just something that might help you. Okay, so a yogi meal. There are 6 guidelines for a yogi meal. Okay, so this just helps you to digest better, be slow down, and become more observant of your eating, of your chewing, of the enjoyment of the food. It helps you to become more present, okay, and just more mindful of how much you're eating and how fast you might be eating, and that could be helping slowing things down internally for you. Digestion does begin in the mouth, so the saliva in the tongue and mouth and we chew it. That's where digestion begins. It doesn't begin down here. So anyway, we want to remain seated for our yogi meal is number 1. All right, sit and be present as much as possible. So we want to refrain from conversation. That is number 2. Number 3, refrain from external distractions like reading, watching TV, listening to music, etc. Number 4, we want to wait until food is completely chewed and swallowed before picking up our next bite. This is a huge one because we're usually still chewing before we have swallowed and have our fork or spoon or whatever it is that we eat from ready to go, right? Loaded up with that next bite to shove it in our mouth. So that's something that we want to refrain from. We want to not have our hands on the spoon or fork or whatever it is. We actually want to set it down and chew our food completely. Chew, 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 chew. Biggest aspect of a yogi meal. And it helps you to become more present, to observe more what you are eating, what you're tasting, what you're smelling. And that's another thing, is to actually smell your food first before you put that first bite in your mouth. And that also helps your body to digest it better by turning on your other senses. So your body knows a little bit more what you're eating. But anyway, so once you've completely chewed and then swallowed that bite, then you would pick up your fork or spoon or chopsticks, whatever, or pick up your food to take the next bite. And you do the same thing. Put it in your mouth, set your utensil down, begin to chew, fully chew and swallow. We also want to refrain from putting more than 2 handfuls of food on our plate at one time. Okay, so smaller portions. If you do finish the 2 portions, wait 3 to 5 minutes before taking more food, before putting more food on your plate, because once that food hits your stomach, you might not be hungry. Okay, so it just gives your body time to assimilate, and we want to listen, we want to observe. So give yourself 3 to 5 minutes before getting seconds, before getting more, and try to start with just 2 handfuls of food. 2 handfuls, imagine that. All right, so especially in America, we like usually bigger portions, or we just eat more food this time of the year around the holidays. So this could really benefit you to eating less and digesting better, okay? And then number 6 is wait until your food has been completely digested before taking your next bite, or really you could take a bite, but your next meal. 2 to 6 hours. So waiting 2 to 6 hours before taking any other food into your mouth. And that is going to be faster if you're eating a plant-based diet, a plant-based meal. Plant protein digests usually sooner, faster, a little more easily, depending on your body type, right? Your digestion. But it usually assimilates faster than animal protein. Okay, so animal protein does take usually up to 6 hours to digest. So leaving yourself more time in between meals. Okay, But if you're eating the lighter, more plant-based diet, then, every 2 hours, your body should have digested and you should be able to feel it. Okay, so you could also journal then if you wanted to make this more meditative. Just you could jot down a little bit of reflection on your meal. If you enjoyed your meal, what were you thinking or feeling when you ate your meal? Was it difficult? And did you learn anything about yourself, especially your first time doing it before you really fully put this into practice? And this is something I have been putting into practice for about the last 10 years. It's something that we can incorporate into our yoga practice, okay, our life, because yoga really is a lifestyle ultimately, right, on and off the mat. So the food choices are yours, what you decide to eat. It doesn't matter what you eat as a yogi meal, but something that you do want to keep in mind is eat nourishing food, of course, eating seasonally, locally, ideally centered on a plant-based diet, because it is easier digested, typically absorbs a little bit more efficiently, so it gets turned into energy faster than the animal-based diet, or just including more fruits and vegetables, then maybe smaller portions of of meat, of animal protein. So use food as medicine. A plant-based diet helps to create more of an alkaline environment in the body, so it typically is healthier. Meat and dairy are more acidic. So, cooking does deplete some of the nutrients depending on the food, on the vegetable. But you can incorporate some raw foods. Your diet doesn't have to be raw, but some cooked, still containing some water content. I have a quote here. David Life from Jiva Mukti Yoga said, "Not everybody does headstand, but everybody eats. Because of this, what you eat has more impact and matters more than whether you can stand on your head." And this goes along with ahimsa, which is non-harming. As a yogi, we want to not harm ourselves, first and foremost. We want to non-harm others, other beings, other animals, and of course, our environment. All right, so, and these are just some options or recommendations for a yogi meal. You don't have to go by these guidelines at all. Once again, it's per individual as opposed to what foods that they eat, but some yogis do follow a macrobiotic diet, which is whole grains, fresh and sea vegetables, nuts, beans, and fermented foods. All right, just to keep that digestion going, the fire burning. We do want to also eat during the sunlight hours. Ideally, digestion does slow when the sun sets in the evening. You can keep that in mind, especially if you're doing the animal protein meal, meat-based meal. If you're doing it at night, it is going to take you even longer to digest that meal. So it potentially could affect your sleep if you're digesting all night. So we're following many vegans follow the principles of ahimsa. You don't need to be vegan, but once again, it just means non-harming. And, raw, cooked is all up to you and what your body really needs and what you prefer. Another thing, to keep in mind for ahimsa is to eat organic, eat local, eat seasonal, helping us to bridge the gap from the earth to the table, right? To our bodies, the food from the earth to our bodies. We don't want this huge processing gap. That makes sense. We want to eat more from the earth as much as possible to really get the nourishment, the energy from it, and the water content from our food when we eat more fresh fruits and vegetables in our diet, in more of a plant-based diet. So it's just more, it's connected closer to source, and that's the energy that we want to consume. Okay, and of course, blessing our meals. So this is part of bhakti yoga, or just really all of yoga, but we want to thank God for the blessing of food, for what a blessing that it is, and thank the earth for providing it. So always remembering to eat and chew in gratitude. Hold this gratitude in your heart center, and your bodies will be nourished and happy and content, hopefully. So this is a great way to slow down. If you want to begin a meditation, this is a great way to begin. You can do this basically as a meditation practice. And then maybe journal about it if you want to, but ideally incorporating this into every day, every meal, and your body will definitely thank you later. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for practicing. Have a great day. Namaste. Oh, and I'm going to be making more yoga videos soon, more asanas, but it's cold outside, and I do prefer to record outside rather than make the videos indoors, inside. So I am working on that right now. So stay tuned, and if this helps you, please comment, or if you want to share your experience of a yogi meal, I would love to hear it in the comments. I'm here if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, please do write it down there in the comments, and I will definitely be happy to help where I can. All right. Have a great day. Bye.